Reon, a fantastic 61 points to 20 win over Coventry and a hat-trick for yourself. In terms of a performance that you'd have dreamt of last night, that must have been pretty close to it.
Oh yeah, obviously went much better than we planned. There's been a lot of energy in training this week. It's been competitive. We did what we said we wanted to do. And scored the research in 40 minutes. So yeah, it was really good.
As a response to the Richmond game, we must be absolutely delighted after that.
Oh yeah, we weren't quite up to pace in the Richmond game, and yeah, we just talked about staying on top of them, being more physical, and just the energy, as I said, throughout training. Just 2 different roles this week, so yeah, just being on.
A very clinical performance in attack. I think it was 9 tries in total. Seemed like there was just a huge amount of intent from minute 1 to 80 there.
Yeah, we were just really clicked. We talked about we didn't go wide enough. Richmond just scattered. He was in front of us, and we did that much better this week. We just supported each other.
And also the fact that we scored so many tries in the second half and kept them to just the 1 as well. And we kind of spoke about the 80 minutes, but that's as kind of a complete performance as we've had all season, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Wardy was talking about having a full 80-minute performance. The past couple of weeks since Pirates, we've not really had that, so it was good to just be physical, stay on top of them, and the rest of it.
How much of a statement is that at Coventry side that have only lost here twice at home all season, but to do that to them was quite something, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did say our Coventry was quite a fortress, so it would be a tough challenge. But yeah, we just clicked together from the start to the finish.
For yourself, a hat-trick, you must be absolutely thrilled with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It makes it easier when you've got the players around you. Yeah, just make one
shows all that hard work in training you're doing is paying off. For example, that high ball take and then going through there, and just the defence as well. It seems like your game's really coming on at the moment.
Yeah, we've been working on defence a whole lot this week, several wins. It's good to get rewarded for training.
And how much confidence can we take into Nottingham now after that?
Well, I'll say that Coventry was a fortress. We put 60 points on that. There's no reason why we can't do that.
Glen, a 61 points to 20 win over Coventry away from home. That's one hell of a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, very impressive. Really chuffing that performance, Shappers. I thought the boys were outstanding today. That's probably our most complete performance of the season. We were looking for a response, obviously 2 weeks ago, very disappointed. Had a week off to dwell on it, and it was great to see the reaction the players have had this week. But training was outstanding and it led into the game, and couldn't really have asked for much more. I thought they were brilliant both in attack and defence, and I thought the whole week as well this week, the way everyone's conducted themselves and responded, because we could have gone the other way quite easily as well after losing to Richmond. Mentally, to get the refocus right was brilliant.
Yeah, after the disappointment of the Richmond game, that's a hell of a way to respond, isn't it? Just the way they kind of bought into everything, 9 tries. It's we've kind of mentioned it already, but as a statement to beat a Coventry side, I think only lost twice at home this season, so that's a fantastic result for us to kind of get back on the horse, isn't it?
Oh yeah, massive. I mean, we spoke all week about saying this Coventry side they've only lost twice at home, and I think it was London Irish 2019 they lost, and Doncaster they only lost by 5. We said they pride themselves on their home form, and this place has been a little bit of a fortress and how they just hang in there. They hang on, they're resilient, and we said we've got to get the job done today. We've got to finish the job. How are we going to do it? And I thought the messages were really clear through the week, and the boys went out there and delivered it. The tactics were good. They spoke at half time as well about how actually Coventry started to play a little bit differently, a little bit more width than what they usually do. They're quite direct, and I thought we sort of spoke well at half time. Players spoke really well, and then to come out there and execute the strategy second half was brilliant, and 9 tries on the back of it. I mean, some scintillating attack, and Reon with a hat-trick is great to see.
Yeah, a great start, wasn't it? I know we've obviously had a bit of time off, so boys were raring to go, but bonus point secured before half time. It was well, you mentioned it there, but there was some of the attack was absolutely outstanding in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic to see that actually some of our first phase sort of moves were paying off as well. So you do all the homework, you do your analysis, and then you're always hoping that they pay off, and it's sometimes those ones just feel a little bit more special, and you get the high fives going out, so to speak, after that happens. So I think that led to a good sort of positive vibe early on in the game. I think to come in at half time as well, and to have the focus that we did in the second half, because in previous games sometimes maybe we've been up early on in the season. I think that probably shows where we've come as a group and as a squad, that earlier on in the season we were in front probably by 20 points sometimes at half time, and then we let teams come back into the game, and to keep them to 20 I think was probably the most impressive part of the game, that actually we still wanted to hold them out. We were still getting off the line, making collisions, particularly when they were chasing the game so much and it gets a little bit loose. I thought from a defensive perspective that was really pleasing to see.
Yeah, I've scored, I think it was 35 points to 7 in the second half as well. Was that kind of equally as pleasing that we kept going in the second half as well and didn't let up?
Yeah, I think that just shows how far they've come and the learning that's taken place as well, and maybe the mentality of the squad now as well. And from a coach, that's great to see, because probably one of the most difficult parts of coaching is trying to ensure that the players stay at that level all the time. But when you're seeing some of the leadership now on the pitch, I thought it was great to have Dicko back out there today. Rain's been leading fantastically well. I thought Craig coming back in fly off, he's been out for a while and he really stepped up today. And I just thought they controlled the game really well. And as a coach, then you sort of empower them to get on with it. And when they're delivering, then why not?
The set piece was very dominant today, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, the set piece was good. I mean, the boys do a lot of work on it. Steve-O does a tremendous amount of work at the scrum, but the front row do an awful lot of analysis themselves. They're very diligent with that. The line-out guys have got Cast, Dents, Reon, Westy, who's not playing at the minute, who still stayed heavily involved, and he's really helped prep us during the week. And I think it's good to mention him because he's prepped and ran the sort of opposition line-out for the last 3 or 4 weeks while he's been out, and I think that's helped us during the games, massively so. And it's great that they want to do their vigilance, and that at the end of the day detail pays off. Obviously you've got to then cross the whitewash and deliver, but when you get a set piece performance like that, both scrum and line out coming together from a forwards perspective, it's brilliant for us, and it's very pleasing for the boys, and they should be proud of what they delivered.
Yeah, can that be a bit of a benchmark for the rest of the season now? I think it's 5 or so games to go, but this was a hell of a statement, wasn't it, and kind of set the level to where it needs to be for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah, massively. I mean, we sort of had a refocus on Monday. It was really good. We'd had 8 days off, and it's always difficult when you come off a loss, and a bad loss as well, where we felt like we didn't perform. It wasn't like the opposition sort of outplayed us. We just didn't turn up. Sort of effort was questioned. Our work rate, and you never want to get that. You never want to be in that stage. You want to be analysing games and think actually, that we didn't get our tactics right, the strategy was wrong, etc. But I think we came in and we refocused really well on Monday. We sort of said, the players spoke and sort of said where they want to get to this season. The gap had closed to London Irish by 2 points after that Richmond game because they went and lost the following day. And we sort of said we've got everything to play for this year, boys. Still, we've got to stay on the heels of Irish, and we've got a cup at the end, and we want to finish this season strong. Really want to finish it strong, and reward yourselves, guys, with all the efforts that you've put in as well. You don't want to look back and think, actually, if I hadn't kept my foot on the accelerator for the rest of the season and regret it. And today, I think, was the benchmark for us. The challenge is now, can we then sustain that now, like you say, for the next 5 weeks?
A lot of standout performers today. I wouldn't have time to go through all of them, but a word for Reon. It's a fantastic story, isn't it? Coming through the academy and getting a hat trick. It's wonderful for him.
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, and he's been fantastic in National 1. He deserves his opportunity. Sometimes when you're a young player coming through, in the modern game, it's sometimes quite difficult to get those chances. They don't always happen. But he's fully deserved it, and that's what you want to see. You want to see some homegrown talent, some local talent coming through, and we've obviously got exciting plans for the future at the club and trying to develop an academy with the Brunel scheme that's obviously out there, and hopefully more people then like Reon we can bring through and sort of embed the Ealing way early on. And you only have to look at teams like Exeter that played the Premiership final last year. I think there was 4 or 5 boys in that final that played the Championship final 7 years ago. So it's great to see Reon come through like that, and he'll be obviously in a good place now. I think last week he was against Richmond, he was probably a little bit nervous. Today I think he was a little bit more relaxed with it, and it's great to see, and he's only going to get better with more exposure.
How much confidence does this give us ahead of Nottingham next week?
Yeah, I think a lot of confidence, but with this group I know they'll stay grounded, which is important because we know how dangerous Nottingham are. We've already lost to them once this year in the league away from home, so we obviously had a great response against them when they came to us in the quarter-final, but they were quite injury hit then. So we know the challenge that's going to be up against us next week, but I think if we can strive for the levels that we got to today, then we're going to be a match for anyone.